Hey again, everyone. This is it is a follow-up video to my last one, but it's a much more poignant video. I've really had to reflect about a lot of issues that I've encountered. And as much as it's so shrouded, a lot of our issues are shrouded, but really, I think most people just don't take the time to realize what the fuck is going on. And, personally, I've narrowed it down to, it's always been a mix of like you having to be ultra fucking accountable for things that, I'd like to reiterate, do what you can, right? Do what's good by you, right? Do what's good by you. But it gets to a point where like what you're doing doesn't even make sense for what you're trying to achieve. And the only one who ends up getting fucked over is you. So, I'd say looking at, especially looking at how fucked the world is right now. There's really, there's not much you can do about it except know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve. And when you know the kind of energy, the kind of people, the kind of groups, the kind of energy you want to keep around you, you really have no alternative but to just know, right? And I've found that some of the most destructive energies to have around you at least according to what I've narrowed it down to, and you've probably noticed this yourself. It's just very difficult because on a societal level, it almost seems normal how fucking dysfunctional so many people are. And you definitely need to watch out for what I would think are the most destructive energies. Would have to be aspd. It's also known as antisocial personality disorder. I think it's a much better term than like sociopath or whatever. But it's a very, very like it's a very noxious energy, right? Very noxious. And you know, as much as you can think that it's your fault that you invited these energies, or you encountered these energies, rather, it's really just how things have been set up, right? These are the kinds of energies that, they just, I don't know, they seek some sort of, or really, it's not that they seek something, they seek to chastise any other person than them, right? Nothing can never be their fault, right? And this is probably the lethal thing about these types of energies. When it comes time to discarding you, they will do it without any second thought, right? Until some slight veneer of remorse hits them later on, right? Then they try and latch back onto you again. But really, it is a lethal energy. And the quickest way in dealing with that energy is to recognize it, right? You can research more about these terms, right? I'm not going to link any resources in, because it's something that you'll eventually just have to discover it. The next one, and I don't know which is worse between them. I would have to call this a mixture of borderline personality disorder and vulnerable narcissistic disorder, right? A borderline is a very chaotic energy to have around you. A vulnerable narcissist is even more insidious and chaotic. Sometimes you get both in one, and that is, oh boy, oh man, it is, no. It is just, it's really not something you want to have around you, right? And seeing as we've been living in the Hunger Games for the past few years, it's the type of energy that gets you to it antagonizes you and gets you into a confrontational situation when that was their objective. It was not your objective. It's never really your objective to confront them. Like, I'd say confrontation works, right? It does work. But at the same time, it's the same game, right? It's the same game. Unless you're sure that you will end it, it's the kind of energy that just keeps on like picking and picking and picking and picking. And it is, in a way, it's really it's a demoralizing energy to be around. But to some degree, there is a silver lining to it, right? There is a silver lining. You know, this energy has really, it has been there, and the funny thing is, it exists in places of higher authority, right? Especially in higher education, right? So many kids have been victimized by this particular energy. So many. So fucking many. And, you know, how the hell are you supposed to know what the hell is happening to you, right? So many people who are supposed to be in charge or, you know, responsible are the ones leading their children into these slaughterhouses, into these ideological slaughterhouses, dealing with these kinds of noxious energies, right? And to be honest, these are dream killers. These energies are dream killers because their dreams were killed, right? Their dreams were killed, so it gives them a leeway to do it to the next person, right? And you really can't know what this type of energy does until you have the time to to ask around, right? To ask other people's experiences of it, to really just, I don't know, to seek the proper insight into this type of energy, right? You won't know. But if you really want to deal with your problems, this energy and aspd, find a fucking way out, right? Find a way to deal with it, neutralize, whatever. Just deal with it, because nobody's going to have any pity for you, which is the, like, man. Oh, man. And, the last one, I would say, I don't know, it probably is just NPD or some form of NPD, but I'll call it behavioural solipsism. It's this kind of feigned ignorance to their intentions, right? They feign enough ignorance to their intentions. And there's a sadistic, all what I've mentioned right now, the underlying component is always going to be sadism. Right? And it's a very, again, like, the only word I can think of is just noxious, fucking noxious, right? It's the woe is me justification, right? The woe is me justification to, again, perpetuate the same horrific atrocities onto people who don't deserve it. And they're always just going to enabling, right? They're always going to have certain circumstances that enable them to continue that streak. And honestly, it's, oh man. Wow. Like, just thinking of the actually, don't even give it energy. Don't even give it that energy, right? Don't even give it that energy. I just wanted to make this because I really thought I needed to say it. I needed to fucking get it off my chest. I needed to say it. You probably needed to know too. So, keep, I guess, keep finding it out, because nobody's going to tell you. Nobody's going to fucking tell you. Nobody is going to tell you. No one's going to tell you. Right? So, yeah. Keep on keeping on, right? Definitely be very, very aware of just what you're intaking and just who is trying to benefit from it, right? Just who is trying to you know, to again, to justify their own negative cycles. Thanks.